Um, I know there's Alabama out there that's still gonna play good. Maybe they'll make the playoffs. I highly doubt it. If they do, they're not gonna win a title again. Look, Georgia owns the SEC now. They've beaten everybody in there except LSU. But I mentioned that because in 18 and 19 with Burrow as a starter, they couldn't do it. Obviously, now if they play, they'd beat the crap out of them. But I just don't think Alabama's gonna is look, 2017, 2015, they won the national championship, right? They've low key been on a decline, accomplishment wise. Hear me out. 2015, they beat Deshaun Watson, won on an onside kick. 2016, played Clemson, Deshaun Watson again, they get beat. Give up a two-score lead in the fourth quarter. 2017, they lose to Auburn, barely win the national championship with Tua, and that's because nobody expected Tua to play as good as he did. 2018, you make it to the national championship, you get destroyed by Clemson. 2019, you're not even in a playoff, let alone a New Year's Six bowl. You're in a Citrus Bowl with Michigan. 2020 was a COVID year. It was anybody's year. Everybody. Some teams look great that you don't see look great, like Indiana. Um, Mostly Indiana, right? Notre Dame looked better than what they normally would do. I mean, they wouldn't have an undefeated regular season. Miami looked better than what they normally do. You know, not to say they won't look like that now, but at the time, it's yeah. Uh, Alabama won it all, but again, a lot of teams showed up. I think they were one of them. 2021, you get beat by Texas A&M and Jimbo Fisher. That doesn't happen to Nick Saban. You know, um, you barely beat a Georgia team that took you lightly. You can barely handle Cincinnati, who you're like way bigger than. You should be able to run the ball up and down the field and score at least 4 or 5 touchdowns. And then you lose to Georgia. Whatever the excuses are, you got your butts kicked. You got beat up front at the line of scrimmage. And really, if there wasn't that fluke fumble, I call it a fluke fumble because that led to the only touchdown Alabama had. They couldn't get any touchdowns other than that play. And I imagine that has to be very frustrating. So in a way, if you look at it, they've kind of been going downhill. You know, they've had a few things like the SEC title with Georgia. If Georgia had played like they were supposed to, probably would have beat Bama more times. There's a lot of what ifs to think about. Um, but I mean, look, I wouldn't be surprised if Bama did win it all. They do it in 2022. But as far as I'm concerned, I just don't think they're gonna get much better really. Because now I think about it, Bryce Young's gonna come back. He's good. He's gonna get better as a player. But now defenses have seen him play. They're gonna be able to scheme for him and plan for him better, and probably be able to slow him down. We saw it with Justin Fields in 2020, the COVID year. Again, he threw a lot more picks than what he did that first year where he had 50 something touchdown passes. And he lost more games. Or when he lost, or when he won some games, he didn't look as dominant. Trevor Lawrence, 2018, flawless, almost flawless, right? 2019, threw a lot more interceptions. Same thing. So I anticipate the same thing for Bryce Young, and I anticipate Bama to lose at least in one game. Here's the thing: they can go undefeated in the regular season, right? But let's say Georgia, I think they will go undefeated in the regular season. Georgia will beat them again, and for that reason, Alabama won't make the playoff. That's just my opinion, because if you can't beat Georgia like you've been doing, and you're not dominating like you've been doing, why should you be in there? I think people help Alabama as much as they can, as they should to an extent, because they've been there. They've been successful more than anybody else. But I don't think it's their time anymore. I think it's Kirby Smart's time. It's Georgia time. That's just my opinion.